Well, it's been a really tough few weeks. You can see that we're on a 5-match non-winning streak. No wins in 5. We saw the games against Hertha Berlin and Bayern Munich last time out. We had a draw against Schalke and a really dull draw against Hamburg. Today we play Bayer Leverkusen, who currently sit top of the table. We've got some really talented players amongst their squad. And then we play Hannover, who are in 17th. And it's that game that I really feel that we need to really address our dip in form and try and get the points from. So the first game against Bayer Leverkusen, I can't say I'm expecting too much, if I'm honest. They're on a good run of form. We're really not on any sort of form whatsoever. I keep faith in the side though. It's the best side we've got. It's the best players that we've got playing in the best system. I've tinkered a little bit here and there and found that I can't really change much that's successful, so we stick with what we've got. We're hopeful that we've still got enough to succeed and stay up, which, you know, I think we have. We're 10 points clear of the relegation zone. I think that will be enough. But as we speak, we've got to address this particular slump in form. So let's go through to the game and keep your fingers crossed against top of the league. So there's not much more to say other than I've told the players we know that we're underdogs, we know we're up against it, but let's go and cause an upset, see if we can G them up a bit. Haven't had much of an effect, if I'm honest, which is a bit disappointing. I don't really know what I'm expecting from this game. I just hope that we don't get trounced like we did against Bayern Munich in the last episode. So here we go on our kickoff. As I say, if we can just hold our shape and keep them away from our goal as much as is possible, I will be happy with not being trounced on this particular occasion. I don't expect to get a decent result, but I do expect us to actually try and physically put in a good shift and try and hold our own against even the top in the division. Last time out against Bayern was very disappointing. It's continued since then. We've been disappointing. We've hardly looked like getting results, but you know, football can change on a flip of a coin almost, and on this particular occasion you never know what might come if we can get a decent result here. So let's see what happens. I mean, we're 22 minutes in, haven't really seen any highlights so far. You can see that the possession is fairly even. They've had a couple of shots but not even on target, so it's a bit of a dull game. To be honest, that kind of suits us down to the ground. If we can keep it this tight the right way through half time, then I think in the second half we've got something to try and battle for. But you know, who knows what's coming. Yeah. Here we go for our first highlight. After 36 minutes, it's their highlight down the right hand side. Long sweeping ball to the left, cut out a couple of players there, cuts it in, but our goalkeeper holds on to it nicely. I thought, you know, that was a decent long ball across the pitch, but there was nobody in the centre to get anything from them. We counter-attack potentially. Nope, they've nicked the ball off of us. Lose it again, but we give it straight back. Again, down the left-hand side with Paulinho. He crosses it in, and that's where we have our problem. Our defence, where were they? They're not marking as I've asked them to in terms of the tactics. I've set individual player markings to, you know, looking after certain players and all sorts of things, and they're just not doing it. I mean, the pace that the attacking players have got compared to our defenders is utterly ridiculous, but our defenders are not hugely slow. They're just not reading the game particularly well in this particular form. It feels like the minute you go on a bad run, none of your players know how to play the game anymore. I don't know, you know, how much you experience that yourselves, but that's how it feels like when you're in the midst of it. All we need is one decent result, and that will probably change again. But just at the moment, they're not doing well enough. They're not reading the game and following through on the instructions that they've been given. So I'm going to get cross with them, because what else can you do? I'm aggressively going to say I expect to see a much better showing in the second half. I really don't care whether some of them are demotivated. To be honest, they deserve everything they get so far. That was not good enough in the first half. When they had their one opportunity, everybody switched off, and there were like 4 players through on our goal. It was utterly ridiculous. So Tiru back to the goalkeeper, who puts it long, gives it straight back to the defensive options for Bayer Leverkusen. They come forward to the edge of our box, but we clear it on that occasion, and Barbosa has it. Can he hold up the play? He can, and spreads it wide to Roberts, who just taps it straight back to a defender. Again, 3 months ago in this game save, we were passing the ball around like we were Barcelona at times in certain games, and now we can't even get it past one of the defenders that are 2 foot away from us. It feels like we just go straight to the opposition all the time. And again, they come back on the counter-attack. Paulinho with the ball, who spreads it to Brandt, who's a great player. But look again in the centre of the defence. There's like 3 players between our defence and the goal. And they've got a simple tap-in. Our defence goes to sleep. Utterly ridiculous. I don't understand how they've all of a sudden become so bad. As I say, in the last few games, I've tinkered around with tactics. I even played a different formation in one of the games. And we looked even worse than we do currently here. It's just ridiculous that the entire team has got absolutely no confidence. I held a team talk recently as well and tried to buoy them back up again, and that didn't seem to work. Once you go on a slump, it's hard to get out of it. That's all you can say. I just hope that we've got enough points about us so whatever we end up with, we're still in this division. But of course, the worry is if you go on for too long like that, then my position as manager starts to become under threat, even if we are staying up in the Bundesliga, because you know, why wouldn't it if you go on like a 6, 7, 8 game run of not picking up many points at all? Whilst it's 2-0, it's not a terrible result against Bayer Leverkusen. You know, they're top of the league, etc. We've been through that, but it's just the way that they're playing is frustrating at the moment. So let's see what changes we can make. See, we got some nerves and anxiety and frustration around, so we're going to have to change some of that just to sort of see if we can calm ourselves down a little bit. It almost doesn't matter who's playing well or not. It's about mindset at the moment, and so we've changed the mindset hopefully a little bit there for the last 20 minutes of the game. See if we can at least get a shot at goal, even if it's not on target would be a start, wouldn't it really? Possession stats are okay. We're matching them for that, but we're really not doing anything with our possession, whereas they look dangerous whenever they have their opportunities coming forward, primarily because we're not concentrating. But here's a highlight for us, potentially. We keep the ball, do we? Yes, we do. It goes left-hand side to Heiss, who, then loses the ball. And straight away, their attacker outpaces all of our defenders. And we had plenty of cover at that point, and he just walks through us like we're absolutely nothing and puts it in the bottom corner. Honestly, it just feels like when it gets to this stage that you seriously just can't change it, and it's part of the algorithms of the game somehow that, you know, you're going to lose whatever. We're going to have to change some stuff. We're going to chuck a bit more shout, a shout on there for a bit more passion. So I'm going to give that to everybody, and then we're going to have to go all out to see whether we can, you know, change anything about our circumstance in this game. It probably won't work. We're 3-0 down. They're top of the league. Why would it work? But we've got to try something at this point just to get some semblance of encouragement from it. At least we've had a shot on goal now, which, you know, I'll take the small little silver linings here and there. It's not that I was expecting to beat these. I wasn't even really expecting to draw. It's just, as I say, about how poorly we've played, and that's very frustrating. It looks like we're coming to the end of the game. Is this the end of the game highlight, or will they get one last opportunity at goal? They keep the ball, but we're pushing them further back, which is okay, and there's the end of the game. As I say, in most circumstances, I can understand that we lose this game. We should be losing this game. They're top of the league. We're battling to save ourselves in the division. It wasn't about winning. It was just about how poor our players were when it really, really mattered. So that's extremely disappointing. I'm going to tell them that I'm not happy with it. And then we're just going to have to potentially try and forget this game and move on and try and get something out of the next game. As I said at the beginning of the episode, it's the next game that really matters. If we could pick up 3 points from that point, you know, from that game, then, you know, we're looking in a much better position to stop the drop towards the relegation zone. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I'll try and chill out and calm down a bit, having seen such a really awful performance, and we'll go through and we'll play the next match and see what happens. Well, it's vital that we pick up the points, I would say, wouldn't you? Look at our recent run of form as we've already been through. It's not good at all. We're slowly dropping away from where we should be in the league. We've dropped into 14th place. We should be up in 13th, 12th by now, I would suggest, but recent run has been terrible. So what do we do about it? Well, today we play, in this part of the episode, should I say, we play Hannover, and they're in 17th. So we've got a decent opportunity here. The suggestion is from some of the players, from some of the media, that the tactical approach isn't right, that the way that we play isn't right. I still personally believe in this formation. I think we've brought the players in to play this formation. I just don't think we've got the style of play right within it. So I have changed some stuff. We've gone for a more controlled possession. I'm trying to simplify everything. I think we're probably trying to play too advanced for excuse me, who we've got in our current setup. So I've tried to simplify it. We've gone shorter passing. You can see here, play out of defence, work the ball into the box more. So take our time, be disciplined, lower the tempo. We can hold the shape, regroup more, slow the pace down, those sorts of things. Out of possession, a bit more of a compressed team. The line of engagement is lower just to help us get a better shape. When we do get the ball back, hopefully we'll get some shorter passing and move up collectively rather than just chuck the ball up front and see what happens. Hopefully all of these things will help us in the next couple of games. So today is the first opportunity to see if we can finally change our fortune a bit, and through this particular style of play get a positive result. So let's get into the game and see what happens. So as you can see, even though the bad run of form, the substitutes that I've got on the bench are not too bad, but outside of that in the squad is not brilliant. So I'm keeping the same side. I have faith in this group of players to get better results than they've been showing recently. The new tactic needs to step in and make a difference. So we're going with the usual side. Greitbust in goal, Cruiser at right back, Heiss at left back, Turu and Gockengol in the centre of defence. Lucas Silva is now a deep lying playmaker, which has freed Burnich up to become a box-to-box midfielder. He's got the ability to make an impact in both areas, so we're asking him to do that. Marin stays as the Metzala. It suits him and the role that we want him to play. We've got Roberts on the left in a slightly more attacking way, as similarly with Bertram on the left. Roberts on the right, Bertram on the left, both attacking more. Gabriel Barbosa, we've brought him slightly deeper. We've made him in a support role a bit more to encourage the ball to go up to him and then for him to hold it and wait for people to join. So yeah, you get the idea. Let's see whether it works in this game against Hannover. So rather than add any pressure on them, rather than try and, aggressively do something or passionately get them up, which hasn't been working, nothing's been working in team talk terms recently, really. I've just allowed them to go out there fairly clear-minded. I've just said, it's over to you, have a good game. And you can see that people are listening, but there's no immediate reaction to that, but that's okay. So we'll get into the game and see whether the tactical change, the structure of play can have a positive influence on us. We are against a weaker side. This is the team really that we need to get 3 points off of, just to secure help secure our safety in the Bundesliga for next season. So it's our highlight on the right. Roberts cuts in on his left foot all the way through to the edge of the area, shoots but goes over the top. Decent run from Roberts. Weaved through a couple of players on the opposition and got to the area, as I say, and took a shot and it just went over the top. But good start. A nice highlight to start with. We've had one shot, they've had one shot. Our possession stats are up, which we would now expect, that we're slowing the game down and taking our time and shorter passes, etc., as we've already talked about. So that's encouraging, that maybe it's a way that we can dominate the style of the game that we play and put our way of playing on the opposition a bit more. Here's their highlight. They have a throw-in on the right-hand side. Stays on the right-hand side. Can they get the crossing? They do. We cleared the ball to the edge of the area. They pick it up again, though, have another shot, and it goes over the top. So a bit like our one. Decent amount of ball movement. Good position, but the shot goes over. Again, their highlight left on on their left hand side. The cross comes in. Eventually we clear it. It took us a couple of chances to do that, but Barbosa sprays the ball left to Bertram, who's wide left, puts the ball in, and Barbosa on the header. What a lovely cross that was from Bertram, from wide left, hugging the touchline he was at that point. And Barbosa got up above his defender and managed to get the header in and put it in the corner of the goal. Here's the brilliant cross. You can see Barbosa is attacking the ball on the run where the defenders were static, so he gets the jump on them, and it was a lovely header. And we get our 1-goal lead at this point in the game. That's a really good thing. That's a really good first 20 minutes or so. Can we build on it? They come straight back at us and get a shot in, and there's an immediate response. That happens in Football Manager occasionally. It's one of the sort of more common things that happens, I guess, is that straight from the kickoff, the team who've lost a goal come and they get an immediate response. And he doesn't have any challenge on him particularly. He's got plenty of space to run straight at our defence, and by the time he gets to the area, plenty of space has opened up for him to have a decent shot, and it's 1-1 immediately. Very disappointing. Is their free kick, hits the wall, and the rebound goes high and wide, it looked like. But the wall did its job there to stop the original free kick. That's good. But yeah, disappointing. It was a good moment for us to get ahead, and again immediately we've lost our way slightly and put ourselves back in the mix for what the game is going to do to us today. On the edge of the area from the throw-in, Roberts, and he picks out a lovely shot into the bottom corner. So the throw-in came in, it went back out to the edge of the area, fed through to Roberts, I believe it was. There's the original challenge. Marin pokes it back into Roberts, takes it round the defender, and on his left foot puts it round the keeper. And a lovely shot. He's done very well there. You can see that he is not offside at that point, although other people might have been, but they weren't in the line of the ball, so that didn't matter. And we've managed to pick out another goal to go in at half-time, hopefully at 2-1, unless they can get another response quickly, which it looks like they're not going to just at this point in the game. So, not too bad. Obviously, it was disappointing to concede an equaliser partway through that half, but we came back again and got a decent goal to take another lead. So we've really got to challenge them now, I think, to hold on to that. So let's go in there and we will passionately say, you've played well, but there is still room for improvement. Keep them on their toes a bit, get them to focus on what's to come. And we'll go straight back into the game and really see if we can stamp some authority on the game, hopefully. Keep hold of that possession stat, which is really more encouraging. Dominate the way that the game goes and see whether we can get some beneficial chances at goal from that. You see we've had 7 shots on goal, 3 on target, which isn't too bad. They've had fairly similar. You can see in our focus of attacks down in the bottom graphic here that we're fairly even, although the left hand side has got more in terms of how we're attacking, but we're using all of our routes to goal, which is another positive. And so far so good. We haven't had a highlight in the second half really. I don't mind that so much as long as we can hold on to what we've got, but we're going to shift a few personnel around. Here's an opportunity for a highlight. Free kick comes in. Bertram on the free kick, but saved by the goalkeeper, and then Roberts on the follow-up. That's also then saved by the goalkeeper. You can see how close it was. Really, that's not particularly close, is it, in terms of VAR stuff? That was an easy conclusion to come to, that it didn't cross the line. But we're in the 71st minute. We're going to change a couple of people just to keep a few people fit. You can see Silva is slightly lesser in his condition, so we're going to bring on Gomez, who's perfectly capable of playing the same deep lying playmaker role, as it were. We're going to take Bertram off and put Hilsner on. He did a decent cross for the goal, but hasn't done anything further than that. And we've got one more that we can make, and at this point I think we're going to bring off Cruiser and put Klunter on. He's a slightly more defensive fullback, and he'll play that role naturally, a bit more defensive. And Cruiser was a bit nervous, so it takes that out of our side. So excuse me, that's why we've made that decision. But nothing else needs to change at this point. I feel like we're holding on to the game. Neither side has really gripped the second half and done much with it. We'll see whether we can last the 10 minutes and get a pretty okay win, I would suggest. It might not be the goal fest that you may hope for. Their free kick, it goes high and wide, high over the bar again. But yeah, it might not be the goal fest that we were looking for. It might not be a 5-0 win or anything. But in the context of where we've come from recently in terms of performances and results, if we can hold on to this, I think that's a very good one. I don't feel the need to change much in terms of bringing everybody back and making us defensive, just because I think that the style of play does that anyway. It keeps the ball. Our corner kick goes short to Hilsner. He tries to get it in but doesn't beat the man, and that's the end of the game. Brilliant. We've stopped the rot. We've stopped the bad run of performances and form. We've finally got our win. That's going to help us to really secure our promotion. Not our promotion, our avoiding relegation. The performance was disappointing, my assistant suggests. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's necessary at this point. I think we'll just call it a good win, get everybody happy and move on from it, really. I don't feel the need to berate anybody or cause any other dissent or problems. We've been asking them to get that sort of win for a little while, and they've gone and done it. So what more can you ask for, really? It would be silly of me to challenge them in any other way. So we were in control. Let's see what that's done to, not that page, that page for the league. You can see we're back into our 13th spot that we've held for a while. We're 3 points away from 12th. Maybe with a couple of decent results, we might be able to nab at a slightly higher position. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've only just found a win for the first time in about 7 games or whatever it is. So I'm happy. It really helps us cement our place in the league. That'll do it for this particular episode. We'll come back again probably fairly soon, I would think. Well, there's no alternative, is there? We'll do the last 2 games and just see if we can confirm our position in the league by some good results there. So yeah, I'll be back for Dortmund in the next episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Thanks very much for watching this episode of the United City Randomiser save. If you enjoyed the video, then why not click on the like button, as that would really help me. If you think you know anyone who would really enjoy my Football Manager content, then feel free to share this with them. But most importantly, if you would like to join my United City here on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my video releases. If you have anything you want to say about the United City save or the channel itself, then feel free to leave a comment below, but please try and be nice with each other. That'll do for today, so until next time, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you soon.